The portal of the Alfred verse is open once again to bring you another episode of Welcome to Frankenstein House. I am G.A. Alexander, and this is Bon Wood, and we're gonna talk on probably the first actual on-topic comic story of the history of this podcast. We're going to be talking about Fatale, the crime noir horror crossover by Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips, and Dave Stewart. And how are you doing today, Bron?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing all right. I got this is not a whiskey cast tonight. This is a wine cast.
I'm getting my tequila and OJ, so it's going to be that kind of a cast. So we'll see how that plays. Might switch it up. Might make a margarita. You don't know.
Yeah. How's your week gone?
Oh, it's going all right. Just been a lot of adjusting, just running errands, enjoying Seattle with nobody doing anything. So, but
yeah, it's gonna really suck once everything opens up and you actually see what once again what the traffic is like, especially in like you're over in Greenwood, so like Greenwood can be a nightmare.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the area from like working in the area and stuff like that. And holy crap, I'm not looking forward to traffic opening up. So if we can keep things closed, a little bit longer, but like open up some things, I don't know.
Yeah. So it's been interesting. Aside from taking out the garbage, I realized that I haven't actually been outside for almost 50 days.
What the fuck, dude?
I think we went to
Why
the
you're
store.
So pale? Like, no. That's just how I am.
Being pale is like that's my shtick, though.
Working on my pale tan.
Yeah, I lived in Tampa for 12 years of my life, and I think maybe a degree darker is as much as I managed. That's just kind of the way it goes, though. I'm doing a lot of stuff indoors. I'm starting to get real into DDP yoga.
Yes, I had a friend that did that. One of my best friends growing up. Was a bigger guy, growing up and stuff. Still kind of is, but he was like, when he was like, I'm gonna lose weight and stuff. It was like DDP yoga because he's super into wrestling too. So of course, hand in hand,
Well, it's my damage with.
Yeah.
So my partner does regular yoga. Is subscribed to like Yoga Glow.
And no, I don't want to do any sort of yoga unless there's some sort of wrestling element to it. If there was a Macho Man yoga.
I honestly I feel like the difference in the presentation is what's making all the difference for me, because I'm just used to going to gyms, and if I'm in an instructed course, I want some gruff dude or crazy looking lady with cornrows just screaming, do this, do that. I took a kickboxing class for a while, a few years ago. And the fact if there's some 40-year-old woman who goes by a tornado or something, and she's that's the intensity I need, and not and now we bring you down into chaturanga.
It's a fine line apparently between going to the gym for that and just a dominatrix, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, one, you're getting some exercise. The other, you're really not, but you still get being yelled at and being told to by a lady with cornrows named Tornado.
But I now have an agreement, I think, with my partner where we're going to do one day of my thing, one day of their thing, and it's going to be interesting. I'm going to learn all these poses, because DDP yoga renamed all the poses. So all of them is and move yourself into happy baby, and and DDP is put yourself in a dead bug position.
Dead bug position.
It's we're gonna go into Warrior 1, and DDP's we're gonna go into Road Warrior.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to look into that.
There's an
Oh,
app. Like there's an app for everything. There's an app for DDP yoga. It's good. It's one of those things. Like I used to go to the gym like if not every day, every other day, and like I was like I think I'm really strong. I'm hitting some pretty good numbers on these squats, and then once you get into the point where like, oh yeah, you need to balance on one foot and like not fall over, you realize how actually weak you are.
Nope.
Yep.
That's
Yeah, it's like Cleveland in Family Guy when the thing like smashes on the side, just no, and then you're on the floor.
That's awesome. We I had to get I had my tire blowout last week, I think it was, and so I had a full side spare, put it on. I had to get new tires, and I wanted to get more original because I don't know. You've seen my Volvo.
Yeah.
But I had was really shitty looking like bare rims. So I want to get OEM. Found a guy from a Volvo group I'm in. So I met up with him today. Got new rims on it, and tires. And so like we actually like drove around a bit today for like the first time in a while. So that was nice. Go pick up some records. We hit up a pet store to get Spoil the cats because they're putting up with us and our shenanigans. So we get them some stuff, did a little bit of shopping, found a sweet Prince shirt. So, it wasn't too bad, but it was really nice to just get out and drive. I need to do that more often.
Yeah.
Like it was nice just to get the fuck out for a while and, drive. Might try to plan some sort of a drive or something at some point. Maybe go down to like Portland. I don't know, just drive for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably the safest thing you can do at this point. So
Yeah, they just rolled out those phases, so I think you're still not supposed to do any like non-essential travel, but I think yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna pull over like, let me see your papers. Go fuck yourself. I'm going for a drive. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Until they make this absolutely illegal and we get full on Gestapo here, like you're fine. So
yeah. Hopefully they're not going to turn into the way that the UK police have been with their recommendations, where they're using literal recommendations, not official government recommendations, the recommendation from just the prime minister as to what.
Just like, hey guys, maybe try not to do this, and the cops are like, well, you know what, we'll take that as law. So
yeah, and like, well, non-essential business. What they've extended that in certain places to be like, yeah, so. Grocery stores can't sell Easter candy.
Oh yeah, that's
it was
right.
just like,
what the fuck?
It was like it's been any excuse for in certain places, and it's been kind of been any excuse for like cops to swing their dicks around. I think.
Isn't well, aren't you kind of glad now that because you guys would have been moved over around this time or June? You guys were planning on moving?
Yeah, probably like late May, early June. That was kind of the hope, and now we're kind of looking like it might end up being, mid-late August, maybe September.
Would you rather be right now? Would you rather be here or over there, especially with what's going on over there too?
It's hard to say because I feel like it would just be the same situation, but like in an apartment in Manchester, England. But the situation, I think, is gonna be the same all over. I think in general, I would have preferred to be over there just because we would have had it done, and there's still so much of it going to be just sitting in a state of flux for a while. That it's just that's the source of anxiety. It's like you're not knowing, and especially when you have like a big life change like that, you're just not knowing what's going on.
Yeah, that's a giant life change, and
that
would be so stressful. I was stressed moving across state during this, but moving overseas, I would have oh my god, that would have driven me crazy. I mean, granted, isn't there a prime minister or what's his face pretty similar to our own president? So I guess it would have been the same.
Yeah, it's kind of it's been an interesting situation over there because it's one of those things where he sucks and also he's I don't know, it's hard to figure out what's going on politically over there because you kind of get this impression from social media that like the whole country is sick of the Conservative Party and like want them to go, and then they actually have an election and
they're like, I
they
guess
win.
we're not that sick. So
yeah, I think like somebody had a theory about it, where it's like I think that like young people tend to move to the cities, but in comparison to the way that voting, I guess they feel should be weighted. Cities are counted as, just for their landmass and not their population, or not the population of the landmass, or something like that. So it's like, yeah, the less the less populous counties and the more populous counties are counted the same way as far as their the amount of seats they get in the Houses of Parliament, or the specifically in the House of Commons. And that tends to be how they pick the prime minister, and that's just the leader of whatever party has the most seats. So it's one of those things like people want to not be in smaller places; they want to be in cities because of the opportunities there. But it also kind of effectively means your vote counts for less. So that sucks.
Fuck that. Yeah. I'm just pulling up the Twitch here so I can keep an eye on it.
Cool.
But I don't know. Like I've never been that far overseas. I've been to Canada, so I'm like super exciting. I mean,
Yeah.
I went to Canada a couple times. I like Canada a lot. But I'm planning though. I keep planning on making a trip that way at some point. So I don't know. If you guys move over there, we'll come say hi.
Yeah, definitely do. Like even if you're so. One of the cool things about the UK is it is very small as a country. So, as long as we know that you're around, like if you're going to be in the country, just let us know and we'll figure out.
Oh, definitely.
Time to come hang out.
It's wild because I actually have family over in England somewhere, and I do have some family. Yeah. I'm trying to remember exactly where in England. I have to ask my cousin Paul, but I do have family on my mom's side over there. So
yeah,
that'd be cool.
yeah, absolutely.
I've been wanting to like check it out. It looks fucking great.
So let's move on to actually talking about
I know, right? This is great. I enjoyed reading the fuck out of this. I had so busy this week, so I like powered through it. A couple hours before this, just kind of skimmed it a bit, but we were so fucking busy all week. But like it was, oh god, it was great. I enjoyed it. Very nice, Lovecraftian tones. Not really tones. It's just basically that's what it is.
Yeah.
Not really a tone as much as like this is what's happening. Enjoy it.
Yeah, so I was goofing around. I think in the description for this, I said it's basically like Elmore-Leonard-with-tentacle-monsters, which
is. Well, like the first graphic you see as you get to like before it starts in the prologue, you have this Cthulhu like monster with a fucking Tommy gun, and as soon as I saw that, I'm like, man, that's gonna be great.
Yeah, that's the thing. It is like or like L.A. Confidential with cults, or something. So it's like, I'll give like a little breakdown of the history of these people. So like Ed Brubaker is he's had a kind of an extensive comics history. He started off doing indie work, like he's very like slice of life indie, like I don't think he was ever out on Fantagraphics. He might have been, but he was like the Fantagraphic style comics, where it's very like autobiographical stuff. And then from there, he ended up working a lot for DC Comics. So he and another writer called Greg Rucka and two artists, Sean Phillips, who worked on this, and another guy called Michael Lark. They had a title in DC Comics called Gotham Central.
Oh.
And Gotham Central is effectively just basically Gotham Central Police Department. They're everything from like their day-to-day, whatever they deal with, to like, oh shit, Mr. Freeze is on the streets. Batman isn't around for some reason. How the hell do we deal with this? So it was very like, it was like Law and Order, in Gotham City.
Oh shit, that whole series is on here too.
Yeah, it's really good. I thoroughly recommend it if
I'm
you're
gonna have to
yeah.
like, dig through that a little bit because that looks wild. But I mean, to
Yeah.
be fair, with like all the ones we've done like Batman, we've done Superman, and we've done this is the fourth episode, and we've done kind of like the great stuff, the iconic stuff got out of the way. And now I feel like kind of like as you get to like this, and stuff like this, it kind of feels like to me it more hits home, kind of more or less in the theme of the podcast because it's very, very creepy, very weird, very awesome.
Yeah.
Very horror. I liked it a lot. Like huge Lovecraft fan. We got into playing like Call of Cthulhu a bit. I love the RP. The game they came out with in the Xbox was actually pretty fucking good. So
Yeah.
I super dig those kind of storylines. So I kind of gravitated because I grew up playing like D&D and shit like that, tabletop, cyberpunk and stuff like that, and I kind of gravitated towards like Call of Cthulhu because I like the element that you're basically just a dumb meat bag thrown into like. And that's how I explain to people. You're really just a dumb meat bag thrown into like, a scenario that you can't possibly hope to comprehend or understand. And your whole point is trying not to get yourself killed by doing something stupid or going insane. And I mean, there's a lot of other like campaigns you can do that are you're all juiced up and stuff. But compared to like D&D, where you're like a fucking hero that you're gonna go take down dragons and wizards and I don't know, like whatever else is in D&D. But with this, it was just like with Call of Cthulhu and stuff. It's so great because like one mistake, just anything you can just like, oh, you looked at a book you're not supposed to look at. Oh, make a roll. Oh shit, now you're fucking crazy. And you are conspiring to kill your entire, party, and you're conversing with a cat that nobody can see. So that's that. So I don't know. I like that aspect of that universe more. Like it's so wild.
Yeah, and this honestly like really echoes through Fatale, where it is it's the idea of and not all of the book, which is an interesting plot device. Not all of the book takes place in the 1950s.
Yeah.
It's sort of bookended by what happens in, I guess at the time, the modern day, which I think was like the mid 2000s at the time.
Yeah, I saw that when Volume 2 popped up. It took place in the 70s, and so that basically after every volume, it's jumping up like by decade or something like that, or a couple decades, because I think we went from the 50s to the 70s, and I'm curious. Do they do the 80s? Because I'm really curious on what 80s, like some dude with a flock of seals haircut. All right, you got fucking Simon Le Bon in there, just like.
I guess we'll have to see that when we get a little further. I don't think I got too far past the second volume. So I think as this little streamcast goes on, we'll probably have to do more volumes of this.
I'm excited just for dudes and just like neon, just like, oh man, this mystery's radical.
So how did you feel like the crime elements of this and the horror elements, how do you feel like they all like mix together? Because I've heard different things from like different reviewers. Like I feel like it worked really well, but people like, especially like the crime fans are like, what's all this demon shit? And then the horror people is like, well, why am I dealing with all these mobsters?
I thought it worked really well. Like everything seemed to flow pretty well to me. Like, I mean, and then, like I said, I read through it the last few hours. I'm definitely gonna go through and read it again.
Yeah,
absorb it more. But just from the first initial, even if I'm skimming the pages a little bit, like I felt like it went pretty well. You got a good amount of mystery, like any noir, because you're kind of like at least the first issue, you're just kind of like, what the fuck's going on? Like, they're kind of alluding things going back and forth, between timelines, and then explaining what's happening and stuff. And then you got the mobster element. I think the mobster element was pretty cool, especially like, you get near the end there. So to me, it flowed pretty well. I would definitely like to see more of that noir crime horror,
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of room for more things like this, I think, especially kind of mix. it's really interesting because like I feel like the way that a lot of horror stories tend to go is they go for very played out premises. You know, the teenagers having a house party, or the summer camp where all the new one that I see in a lot of movies where it's like the ghost adventurers, ghost or
oh god,
that kind of thing, go into a place, but it's actually for real haunted.
as Courtney's a big fan of was it Ghost Adventures and stuff like that.
Yeah, Ghost
Huge
Adventure.
fan of that. So I showed her like Grave Encounters. Those two movies. I thought those two movies were pretty decent.
Those two are great, but there's been a million ripoffs and they suck.
Oh, they're terrible. But like Grave, of all the ones I've ever seen, like Grave Encounters, as cheesy kind of a premise, I thought they did it pretty well versus like the millions of ripoffs that like followed, and even some that came before then that wasn't that great. But yeah, I showed her both of those. I'm like, you got to watch these. They're basically what you expect. Like, oh, I'm gonna go fuck with demons. Oh shit. That's really the whole premise of it. I'm gonna go yell at a demon. Oh fuck, that was a bad idea. Now everyone's fucking dead.
So I just, by the way, I just got a notice that we got a copyright claim on our last video.
For what?
You know what we got it for.
Was it the
I think so. I'm gonna start using that like Wes Scanlon version of the logo that I posted on Instagram earlier. I'm gonna start using that on fucking everything. Oh god!
No, it was the was it because we were showing comics last time?
The first time, yeah, I think it was because actually.
Oh yeah,
I now have
that's right, because we played.
I thought it was because we're doing because we showed comics.
I don't think that is.
So there's now like I've started hearing about a thing in live stream, like YouTube live stream or the YouTube live stream world. Mm-hmm. I've now started hearing there are like a group of people who just who go around and they just report shit. Oh. Anything on comics, like whether it's like a live stream, a live stream immediately goes down, but like they're flagging like pre-recorded videos. People have to just
I bet it's Stuart Townsend. I bet it's him. I bet because he's not fucking popular. When's the last time he was in anything? I think I went through his IMDb. Next time I'm just gonna stream his IMDb page and just shame him. I think it's him because he's probably sitting there bored. Oh, I'm going to see who's talking about me, and then stumbles upon us, which we should probably stop using Stuart Townsend sucks hashtags.
Yeah, we should stop doing that. I should get rid of the logos that we have up about Stuart Townsend.
The erotic fanfic comic I'm working on about Stuart Townsend. I gotta put a stop to that. I'm sorry, man. It was his time to shine. I thought it would bring back his revival, but I mean, if he's gonna be a dick about it, I guess I won't. And I was even generous in the drawings. All right, man. I was very generous in the drawings. All right. I don't even draw, but I made sure they were complimentary drawings. And now we have to throw it away. I have to delete it all because it was fucking Stuart fucking Townsend. So dude needs to get a life.
Yeah, so we have to officially apologize to Trent Reznor for our accusations that he may possibly have killed our first live stream because apparently it was not. It was either this weird YouTube comics flagger group or Stuart Townsend who, probably him.
Stuart Townsend has a fucking net worth of $5 million. He's basically poor.
Yeah, I mean, in the grand continuum of things, especially compared to yourself and myself, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Poor Stuart Townsend.
He's just sitting there crying with his millions of dollars. Oh, they're making fun of me. It is weird Irish accent that he had. So All right, so we can't stream anything by Puddle of Mud, and we can't talk about Stuart Townsend.
Not anymore.
That's dumb. Where'd you get the notice at? I didn't get an email from the.
I'm just literally just looking at our at our YouTube right now. Yeah, and it just literally, like, when I was taking a look at it,
popped up.
Like status, and it's like it's online, but it's copyright claimed. Like, we showed 3 minutes of at most of this terrible song.
We showed something that the world had already seen, and we were really doing the world a disservice by showing it again. So I don't understand, why they're just getting so fucking upset by it. I mean, the dude can't sing. I mean, nobody likes him. Nobody likes Puddle of Mud. Like, who likes Puddle of Mud? Can you name an album besides the one Blurry was on? I don't even remember.
I don't even know what that one's called. I just know Blurry because they just played Blurry a lot when I was
just a terrible fucking band and a terrible fucking singer. And back in the day, people would be like, "Well, you don't know that," blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, well, now I have proof. So watch the fucking Nirvana cover video.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we have in the comments we got a little. Yeah.
Reznor. I bet his net worth is way fucking more than Stuart Townsend's.
Yeah, Trent Reznor's interesting. I was reading a bunch of interviews with him recently about his decisions to go back to a major label after he left.
His whole fucking fit where he did Ghost, he did this huge fit, left his label, made a big to-do, like this huge fucking stink about it, recorded one of the shittiest recordings Nine Inch Nails has ever put out, made millions of dollars off of it. And then he made a fucking conspiracy album. Like, Year Zero is fucking great, but he basically makes a conspiracy album and then follows it up with another worst album. I don't know. The Slip was bad, but
yeah.
And then now he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go back to a major label." Like, he needs fucking money.
Yeah, and so his explanation was like he was trying to tour Europe, and when he would show up at a venue, there'd be no posters, no promotion, no anything by the local promoters, and he was like, "Oh, right, this is why people have record labels, because they take care of this, because the people working for the promotion companies who are supposed to actually do this don't do this."
No, they don't. It's funny. Just imagine being Nine Inch Nails, or just imagine being Trent fucking Reznor, just pulling up to a gig, being like, "All right, man, I'm gonna do a show." Pulls up, nothing. Nobody's outside waiting for him. Goes up, "I'm the band. Who the fuck are you?" "I'm with Nine Inch Nails." "Who the fuck is Nine Inch Nails?" "Been around since like the late '80s. Like, I don't see your fucking poster, or you're not on the marquee. Get out of here, nobody."
Like, okay, boomer.
Okay, boomer. Like, just imagine that. Just pull up like, "What's the play here? Well, I don't see on the marquee, but I'm Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails." "Okay, boomer." He's just like,
yeah.
He writes an album about it.
Well, I mean, in that era, it also, like, that was like fucking Deadlift's Trent. That was like, I'm 250 pounds of pure muscle. It's like somebody would okay boomer and he would just throw them into the sky.
You just eat them. Well, we should petition Trent to fire Atticus and, like, find a new person to make music with.
I like Atticus. I like his additions. He needs a third person.
That's true too, because it's all like, I guess. What I've noticed with Nine Inch Nails is anyone that's listened to them for a long time that's a huge fan, you kind of notice once you hit with Teeth, he kind of locked in a certain sound, and that's Atticus. It's all Atticus. Once he like locked him in, and then he still had the influences from like Alessandro and stuff too, but like once he broke out of that with Teeth era, like Atticus set in, and he adds this polish to his sound. I think it's a good way to describe it. It's like this polish to his sound. Like there's just, when I hear it, I know it's an Atticus inspired synth sound or something in his production stuff. And I'm just like, wow, that's cool the first time I heard it, but here we are like 5 albums later, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, you make some killer shit, but like slam some heroin or find a third person. Yeah. Like, bring back Aaron North out of retirement.
I was about to say Aaron North. I was actually I was Googling him to remember what his name was.
I was listening.
Yeah, he was great.
I love that dude. But like, he had this big, it's funny because I was actually, looking up records because that's what I do, and I'm a big fan of like their first 2 records by the Icarus line, where he started that band. He's in that band. Love them. The first 2 albums are great. After that, it's kind of shit. But the first 2 albums are fucking phenomenal. Mono is a great record, and Aaron North, you know, loved that dude. Like when he did with Teeth in Year Zero, I was following him. He did a short side project, Jubilee, for like a little while.
Jubilee, yeah.
Didn't last long, but it was great. I wanted more of it, and then he just had this huge mental breakdown and just left Buddy Head, left music, and hasn't came back to music since then, which is wild because of all of like Nine Inch Nails guitarists, like Robin Fink is great. Like, I mean, I love Robin Fink, but he's no fucking Aaron North.
Yeah.
Like, he's not. Like, Aaron North was insane and wild, and he breaks shit. And, like, I mean, I wish he can get that energy back.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like, I feel like everything that, so like comparing Trent Reznor with this person is probably a bad plan. But Trent needs to sort of figure out his like his Nick Cave era. Like he needs to figure out how to be like a crazy old man and not just kind of a mellow old man. Because like I feel like modern Nine Inch Nails is kind of missing it's missing some sort of like. It's missing a spark and it's missing an energy that is. It's interesting to be able to see like a creator like a person like Nick Cave, a person like Tom Waits, even I feel like Depeche Mode is having a similar thing as well. Like Depeche Mode has a problem where Dave Gahan is really into blues, like modern like blues rock. And keeps trying to add elements of that to Depeche Mode's new stuff. And I feel like the other guys in the band aren't into it at all, but don't want to like fuck up the chemistry by like pushing back against them. So
nobody tells Dave Gahan what to do to begin with.
Yeah, so like we get these like fantastic electronic instrumentals with bad Dave Gahan blues rock over the top of it.
It's not bad. I did feel like the new album was good, but it was a little lackluster a little bit. Like it was good, but it wasn't. It's not up there like one of my favorites. It's one I'd have to listen to. I think the last Nine Inch Nails record I liked was the one before that, Delta Machine. I think that's what it was, and that was pretty good. I liked it. It was all right. But I mean, I haven't really loved a Depeche Mode record since like Playing the Angel, which was one of my all-time favorite records of theirs. A good mix of, that guitar and just an insane amount of good synth work, and the songwriting on it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But no, Trent needs to do something. He needs to. Well, I mean, he had that period where, like, every so often he'd have like a new bunch of people to work with. Like, there was different eras of Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
And I guess, I mean, it would be cool to see a new era of them. Like, he needs to like. I don't care if like Attica still produces, but he really needs to either get, like you said, like a third, or he just needs to like take the reins himself and pull a Nick Cave, and just like I'm sad and depressed. I'm gonna write the Boatman's Call myself, and then I'm gonna fucking start writing all the songs myself, and then that's how we got some really great ballads, and that's how we lost Blixa. And
did you see the videos that Neubauten just put out, by the way?
Yeah. I love Blixa. I love it. It's so great. I was so excited to see them when they were coming. Like I was gonna be there. No matter, I would have been there, and it sucks that they had to postpone it because of everything. I freaked out as soon as I saw it. I'm like, well, for one, this isn't going to sell out in Seattle, and two, I'm going to go see them at one of my favorite fucking venues, the Neptune. So, I don't know.
They'll be back. They will be back. We were going to see them because the way everything was shaken out. We were going to go see them. I think we were going to go see them in London, but that did not end up happening for us. But when things are supposed to be delayed, I'm gonna be the Pollyanna in this situation. I'm gonna be like, it's all gonna be fine. We just gotta wait a bit. We just gotta
just gotta chill, just gotta wait. Yeah. It'll happen. Well, at least you're not like one of those people that are acting fucking crazy right now, like trying to like protest and thinking that your liberties and your rights are being taken away. My freedoms are taken away. I gotta show up with guns to the government place. And
I will say those people kind of bad. The worst people I've run into, and like I'm gonna try to like disguise everything about this person because I don't want to put this person on blast, but I do want to put this behavior on blast. It's like
last week arguing with a bunch of dumb white people on Facebook.
Well, there's some people there's some people I know who are doing the social media. You need to stay home. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to fuck these people who are like doing these crazy protests. And this person. Hold on a second. We have a cat coming in. Sorry. And this person just did the whole like, well, nobody's paying attention. I'll throw a party thing. And it's
wow.
At the very least, the protest people are like, they believe their dumb thing. They are like saying like everybody should behave themselves while like, LOL, throwing a party.
I don't know if you saw, but I got a Facebook jail for saying stupid fucking white people. So if you say that, if you legit say that now on Facebook, I've had a few friends that have posted that. So that's why I abbreviate to SW, stupid fucking SFWP. That's what I use. It's the abbreviation. Yeah. Because I've had friends that didn't believe me, so they said in their Facebook jail for like 3 days. Immediately. Like, I guess Zuck is very sympathetic towards the plight, the eternal plight and struggle of the Caucasian individual. Like, it's a belief, he feels so strongly, and, much like, the white person's Rosa Parks, these people,
Alex Jones,
these brave, God-fearing people who obviously deserve all of our sympathy and support and to go to their GoFundMes and stuff. These fucking people, Zuck holds in such high esteem. If you besmirch anyone of a fair-skinned complexion, he will strike you down like the hand of fucking God, I guess. Which is wild because, I can, see people posting, not even like hiding it, not even subtle racism, just basically, I've seen people say the N-word and shit. I've seen people like gone on diatribes of just the kind of racism where you really just want to find out where they live and just be like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yep.
And like you report it and they're like, oh, well, it doesn't go against our communities. But if you say anything against like, fair skin complexion people, that's it. You're the monster. Yeah. You're the fucking terrible human being. Because white people obviously faced hundreds of years of repression.
I think a good portion of this is that I think a lot of those flags get reviewed by an algorithm. And I think probably those things you're reporting are just like they're being they're probably worded in such a way that they're like,
their bots
we don't know what you're talking about.
Their bots become racist. Their bots. I guess when they first started, I guess their algorithm AI probably was like very like, all right, cool. I'm a new being. I'm gonna go through all these posts and I'm gonna do my best to be the best bot there is. To like not even like probably like 10 minutes later, he's sporting a Leonard Skinner T-shirt, Confederate flag hat. Going, my freedoms, what? Someone talking about boom, jail. It's just like totally like you can smell the ice house on it when you get those in your inbox. You're like, wow, fuck, okay. But it sucks. I've gotten into multiple arguments this week with just people like, either they think it's like their right to, that it's infringing on their freedoms to, be advised to stay inside, to not, get sick or get other people sick. Or people that think they know more than, doctors.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite thing. Or people that know more than our leading expert in, viruses and shit. And they're like, that guy is like obviously like in the government's pocket. I'm like, have you not seen anything he said? Like I've seen him directly after the president's talk contradict, like, no, this dude's like, no, don't do that. Like, no, guys, no, this is wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I will admit that I've gotten incredibly frustrated with just the fact that I'm stuck indoors, and B, like, I do have kind of a problem about, having, because until like Friday, there was no real like official plan of like what to reopen. Like that's incredibly frustrating to be like, okay, we're stuck indoors for 2 months with no like, hey, we're gonna figure, this is our loose date to do this, and this is our loose date to do this. Like, I feel like that could have been done. But the idea of like you're going to like, oh yeah, we're all gonna like go out and protest in the middle of a pandemic. That's embarrassing. Like, it's not even just stupid. It's like embarrassingly stupid.
It is, and that's the thing is the more this has been going on, the more that I've seen how our country's handled this, the less and less I want to have anything to do with this country. Like, I mean, not like, there's other countries that aren't doing as well, but there's also countries like New Zealand, who like paid attention, caught it on early, and now they're reopened. They've had no cases because they were like, hey guys, we're going to shut down for a while, make sure we're going to nip this in the bud. And everyone's like, okie dokie, whatever they say in New Zealand, I guess. Like, they're just, nothing's happened, nothing. They've been fine. And, it just, I don't know. I'm hoping after when all this is said and done, we can do things to repair, our own country, to make sure that, if things happen, we're not going to be caught holding the bag and a bunch of dumbass white people are going to feel like they're oppressed against, which I guess, I mean, they really have this weird meter of when they decide they're oppressed. It could be from you didn't get your fries at McDonald's, or told that, oh, hey, you can't say the N-word, or, stay inside and not get you and other people sick. It's kind of like this weird meter of like, when am I oppressed? We should just mail every person like this little thing. Fill this out. Do you feel like you're oppressed? And spin the wheel, Nope. Not getting your fries at McDonald's is not oppression. Chill out.
Yeah, or I mean, to a certain extent, I can kind of understand the people who are like, I have now literally no job and I have to stay indoors for 3 to 4 months, and also I have $1,200 from the government.
Or if you're
like that, I can understand being frustrated, angry at.
100%, but like most people, and I'm not sure if you have, but like most, like I've seen a lot of people, like I've gotten started my unemployment. They haven't deposited yet, but a lot of people have issues. But the unemployment, if people, I mean, they've kind of limited up, because I was self-employed for a while, so I was glad there was help there, because I felt really bad for a lot of like, musicians and shit like that.
Yeah.
But the fact is, like, even just you get that extra $600, and then even the minimum you get that, you're getting that per week, and that's not too bad. And so you're basically just sit at home indoors and just spend a bunch of money on vinyl.
Yeah.
But for the people that are fucked by it, you didn't even get their check yet or something like that. Yeah, those people should absolutely be angry. Those people should be the ones bitching and moaning, not the dudes that apparently got their checks and are walking into, the courthouse with fucking AR-15s decked out, like, with their, stimulus checks. I bought a new sight for my gun. If I was a governor and I saw a bunch of white people with weapons heading towards my fucking, office, I probably would have called the National Guard and been like, yeah, you guys need to break this the fuck up. Fuck this. Like, what is this? Like, you're trying to intimidate me? No, fuck that. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing is people felt like they could intimidate a fucking female governor because, she's trying to look out for everyone's best interest the best she can. They're like standing outside her offices with fucking loaded weapons. Like, fuck that. Like, I don't know. That's the thing is, though, these people like that can get away with it, but, if it was anyone that wasn't white, they would have been gunned down the second they stepped outside their house with an automatic weapon.
Yeah.
Semi-automatic weapon. They would have been immediately. It doesn't matter lockdown. The second someone would have stepped outside, I'm going to join this protest, and they're not white, they would have been arrested, they would have been beaten, it would have been terrible, fucked up bullshit. But hey, talk more about that sweet, sweet white oppression that you guys are crying about, because there's no way anyone would have gotten 5 feet with that. Anyway, back to the
one of the interesting things about this whole shutdown has been actually its effects on the comic book industry. So, God, I want to say about 3 or 4 weeks ago, Diamond Distributors, who were the only comic distributor of note in America, basically because they're in, I want to say, Minnesota, one of the M states certainly, but they were basically, because they were classified as being not an essential business, they were shut down. They had one warehouse that was open, so they were not open to new comics. They were not open to anything else. And you right there?
Yeah, I'm fine. Sorry.
Okay. No worries.
I was trying to figure out how to get this on my monitor so I don't have this glare in my glasses. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm like, I got this glare, and I'm like, if I move this here and look at the camera here, turn on the brightness. So I'm doing some quick little thing here, see if I can get this on here, because this glare is pissing me off. Every time I look directly in, you just that's all you see. So let me see if I can get this to where I can get on that monitor and turn the brightness down on this, so that way I'm not getting blasted here.
Yeah. So what happened was Diamond shut down. So while the majority of comic book companies have been furloughing employees, they've been telling creators pencils down on projects they're working on, things like that. Apparently, DC Comics decided they weren't going to do any of that. They got together with two other comic book retailers who specialize in mail order, and had these two mail order companies effectively jury rig their mail order systems to be able to mail to stores. So there are now two new distributors, specifically of DC Comics in America, and so DC Comics started shipping product last Wednesday, and they were just doing 2 or 3 small titles. I think 2 of them were reprints. 2 of them were Joe Hill's Daphne Byrne Part 3 of 5. This kind of smaller scale Vertigo type projects, and they apparently those are getting to retailers pretty well. Diamond themselves are now looking to start shipping new product as of the 20th of May. But apparently, people are real mad that there are now more than one distributor of comics in America, because some of the stores got pretty happy with only needing to have one retail, one source that they would deal with. And I don't know. It's one of those interesting things that you I've never run into I've never talked to an owner of a comic book store or a person who works for a comic book company that doesn't have a horror story about Diamond and some bad thing that happened to them. Oh, hey, I shipped a bunch of stuff to Diamond and it got lost in a warehouse, or it got water damage
off the truck.
Yeah, but the fact that they ran into okay, so our warehouse is shut down, so one of our major retailers decided, hey, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and work with some new companies to get product out there. Suddenly everyone was like, we need to stand behind Diamond. We love Diamond. We love our monopoly.
We love them. It's all right. You lost some of the shipment. It's okay, man. It's okay. Just keep it for yourself. Just we love you guys.
It's also one of those things where, so in Washington, we are now, I believe in May 4th, Monday, we're going to be in phase 1 of the recovery plan. And that means that retail businesses, even non-essential retail businesses, can technically reopen if they do curbside service. And that means my local comic book store can do curbside service. They were also doing a thing before they got shut down by the government where they were going to mail product to you, and that was great. I was having a happy time with that, because they would just they would mail my comics to me. Everyone's gonna be fine.
What local shop do you have by you?
Phoenix Comics and Games. I really like them. They're good. I really like them. They're sort of a mixture of a comic book store and like a Magic the Gathering like tabletop game place. I believe like like a lot of their staff are like queer or gender non-conforming. Like they set themselves up to be like a cool, comfortable place for people to go. It's I like them. I really like them. I want to support them. They kind of like it made me really sad that like, hey, half of our business can't happen right now because we can't have people playing tabletop games in the store, right?
Not at all. I mean, I guess we get hazmat suits. Hey, we can all get hazmat suits. Just imagine just like the first person to walk in the store, just a full out hazmat suit. Just someone's gonna shit their pants.
Oh, believe me, when we finally do our move, I'm getting on a plane in a hazmat suit. It's going to happen. If I can get the full out like AIM beekeeper costume, all the better.
You gotta go Half-Life. You gotta go straight up old school Half-Life hazmat suit. I wonder how much a hazmat suit is. Let's find out. I see $1,000 in Zorro, $6,000 in. Wow, hazmat suits are fucking cheap.
That looks like profiteering.
Yeah, it's a lot of profiteering bullshit. But I don't know. There's some for like $100 some bucks. I don't know if I would wear a $100 hazmat suit. Well, let's find out. Like, it's like $134. I should probably
definitely read those reviews first.
Yeah, I'm gonna read these reviews. Use this in Chernobyl. It doesn't work. Oh wow, this product. What the fuck? You get in a hazmat suit and it says a warning: this product can expose you to chemicals. I'm like, what's the point of a hazmat suit? Stop that. What the fuck? It's like $134. It's
for $134. You can you can not expose me to chemicals.
There you go. Like I might I think what we should do is we're going to turn this into like half comics, music, and musings on whatever, and the other half is a hazmat suit fashion. So we're gonna try out hazmat suits from various companies and see if they'll just send us some for free. We're gonna review them for a lot of people. Are gonna see all of our like 3 people watching this. But those people are gonna be super fucking informed on how these hazmat suits are.
Yeah, so if any hazmat suit manufacturers or retailers are out there who want us to go ahead and give honest reviews of your product, we will absolutely turn this channel into a hazmat review database.
We will straight up like get out there. We'll try it out. We'll go a couple blocks in these things. I mean.
Oh, I'll go the whole hog. Like I will, if you folks want to do buy me a hazmat suit, buy me a plane ticket, and then I guess give my partner some hazard pay, and I will fly to Hawaii with your hazmat suit. I will fly back from Hawaii in your hazmat suit. I will self-isolate for 14 days, and I will then give a review of your hazmat suit.
But we have to stress that. If we are going to Hawaii for testing requires us to be in Hawaii for no less than 30 days for testing.
Really?
So we have to be in Hawaii on your dime for 30 days to fully test the integrity of your product. And then I promise to post photos of myself lounging on the beach in your hazmat suit. I will surf in the hazmat suit. So that way we can reach every demographic, whether you're a beach bum or just a wino passed out in the beautiful hot suns of one of Hawaii's islands. I mean, we will test this out. We will go all the way. In fact, I will go as far as getting wasted in one of your suits to see if it holds up. Just like projectile vomit. Apparently, we found out you could projectile vomit in the suits, and you could clean them out with a hose real easy. 10 out of 10. There was at least 5 instances of projectile vomiting, and honestly, when it came down to it, we only filled up a quarter of the suit with it. We were still experienced mobility. We were still able to go. We still had protection in it. Smelt real bad, so I would suggest maybe some sort of like ventilator that I could hit to get that smell out. I don't know. But
Yeah. Oh God, did I ever tell you? I think that there's a potentially a chance that I may have actually gotten the event months ago and didn't realize it.
yeah, that's what we actually with us we were because when we came up and visited, I think we got sick when like in December. She's not listening to me. Anyway, so I think we because Courtney got really sick, I think near the end of the year, like really sick, and I kind of get sick, you know, at least once a year where I'm just like, oh, I feel like shit. But also my job, like with locksmithing and stuff, I just were around people out in the elements all the time, you know, all day and shit. So it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, well, I probably, you know, sick, but you know, she got really sick too, and I think she's thinking maybe we might have had it like you know, really early on, like the beginning of the year, and power, you know, we powered through it. It sucked, like she was super sick for a while, but you know, but I don't know. When did you get it?
So we went to Mexico in February, and our theory is that we may have gotten it from flying on the plane. So my partner got sick. I did not get sick. My partner's, you know, 50-something like Russian parents did not get sick despite being pretty immunocompromised. But so there is a whole bunch of testing they're doing right now to find out if some like mid-century, like 1950s through 1996 or something, European vaccines may bolster people's immune systems at a certain level where they may be able to like immediately fight off the event. And so that was a vaccine that I received. That was a vaccine that their parents received. That was not a vaccine that they received because they grew up in the U.S., which didn't have that type of that didn't have that vaccine, which is like I think it's a tuberculosis thing. And this is like super like it's one of those things like theories people are having that are not tested. So definitely do not look at me as any source of information about this whatsoever. But that was one of our thoughts is that because my partner got sick and the rest of us, I think maybe had like a day where like, oh, I think I'm getting it now. And then we woke up the next day and it's like, oh, okay, we're fine. So now we're wondering if we got some version of it that our bodies immediately fought because of some eccentricity because of this vaccine, you know, this super sketchy like early you know or mid 1900s vaccine we received. It's a weird thing. Like we don't want to don't want to tempt or test fate by like going out and you know breathing in a bunch of people's mouths, but I would be very curious to find out, you know, when we actually have these sorts of things, if when they actually have the antibody tests, if we have those antibodies in our system, because that'll be an immediate thing. Like, oh, we definitely got this in Mexico, then and we just got over it.
Yeah, we powered through it. A lot of vodka.
Yeah. But I guess that's an argument to reinstate some really sketchy tuberculosis vaccines. So,
yeah, I guess. I mean, that's the thing is like a lot of the people that are protesting and just stupid fucking people daily bitch and moan. Some of the things they argue about is that you know they think it's a hoax. It doesn't exist. It's like the flu, shit like that. Shit like that.
Okay, so like I'll argue. Sure, it's like the flu, but the reason that people I think don't mean that they don't mean that in the same way because like the flu, I think that people do not take as seriously as they should.
Yeah.
Like the flu killed like 80,000 people last year. Like it only killed about 25 this year, but it's still like the flu sucks. Yeah, the flu do not underestimate the fucking flu.
Yeah, just because you can get it, but I mean, if you survive it, it's because you're relatively healthy and you have some sort of health insurance that allows you to get flu shots and shit and stuff. So you have things in place that help you with it, but you know, it doesn't, you know, stop other people from fucking getting it and shit.
Yeah.
Well, we've derailed ourselves.
Oh, we absolutely have.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the nature of the
show and be our conversations as human beings.
I know. Like, you're not here to hear comics. You're here to watch us drink. I'm a glass of tequila and orange juice, and Greg is still nursing his wine. Which, if you
I
ask
am
him very
absolutely
nicely,
no longer nursing this wine.
if you ask him very nicely, I'm sure he will shotgun half a bottle of wine.
Yeah. I still have most of that makers still in the other room. If I really need another drink, I can go get it.
So bust out the makers. What we should do is we should have like a little gimmick. We'll set up shot glasses throughout the show. As we get to each point, we take a shot. We'll have like, I don't know, 4 or 5 shots lined out as we get to each point. And we'll see what happens as we hit the last shot. We'll see how it goes.
Let me tell you about some comics.
Let me tell you about the gun.
Right in the background, you probably can't hear it because of this microphone, but we have the joyful noise happening right now, which is every day at 8 p.m. people just like open their windows and go out of it.
That sounds terrible. Like I've seen videos of that. I guess that's cool as a form of like, feeling like you're all in this together kind of a thing, camaraderie. But like, I don't think it happens up here because I don't hear it. And I mean, I thought it happens like around 8 or so because that's a good time. But if it happened like at 12, I would just be like, guys, you need to shut the fuck up. Yes, we're all in this together, but we're all trying to fucking sleep.
Yeah, we're talking to a friend, and she was like, "Did they not understand that like a lot of healthcare workers don't work normal shifts and might actually be trying to sleep right now?" It's like,
yeah, I know. Like, imagine
that's a good point.
Imagine being a healthcare fucking worker, working like busting your ass off, dealing with like you had just a shit 17, 18, 20, let's go like 36-hour shift because that's pretty reasonable right now. 36 some odd hour shift. You get home to sleep, you rest your eyes, and all of a sudden you have a bunch of assholes around you just yelling and banging on shit, thinking they're helping, and you're like, fuck, I have to get to sleep, y'all. Like, I mean, if you want to do something nice for them, show them like, find out if they have like a like a Venmo or something. Give them like $20. Give them something. Give them some money. Give them all the money. I don't care. Like those people. I saw there was something in the works. So I'm not sure. I haven't seen it in a while, but I saw they were trying to do a updated coronavirus legislation to where the essential workers get like basically a $25K fucking add-on to their salary. So they jump up. I saw that, and it was a while, like maybe a few weeks ago. And that app, so they should get like at least a $50K fucking like every essential worker that's working right now should be working with hazard pay, should be getting like fucking 5 times their pay amount. So if they're making like $20 an hour, fucking give them 50 a fucking hour. Like make it worth it for them. Give them great benefits and shit and stuff like that. Because a lot of these people are dealing with a bunch of stupid shit. Like the audacity of some people going to these places and being assholes to these people is beyond me. I've seen a lot of videos where people are just yelling at fucking cashiers and shit. And I'm just like, you want to come here and buy your shitty thing of like Ice House and stuff? Like come on, like this wouldn't be possible if these people weren't here with this open. So I don't ever want to, and I also don't ever want to hear that these people don't deserve 15 an hour or whatever. I never want to hear that again in my life.
Yeah, these are.
I say that I'm gonna like straight out probably just deck them. Be like, nah, dude, shut the fuck. Like these people are like what's keeping things running right now. Yeah. Like we order a lot of food. We go shopping, and whenever we do, we try to tip as well as we can. I do what I can to help support like friends I have that have businesses and stuff. So I try to be like vinyl from them, music stuff. Just try and help them and help people that are actually like out there making shit run. So
yeah. All right, so I'm gonna read some comments before I start trying to pull us back towards the actual topic of the episode.
Start towards.
So I eat cookie yum yum 69 on Twitch says asterisk.
I don't know, but it was something they said that auto modded. So it's a 3-letter word that was blocked.
And then they said after that, they said oy vey, which is a traditional statement of frustration for a certain segment of the population. Let me see.
It doesn't say on here what they tried to say that was blocked. They might have just like blocked it themselves because I didn't get anything. Caught it being like so and so is trying to say this because I have like the generic like things stopped from being said in chat. So
yeah, we have. You're definitely gonna have to help me with the pronunciation on this one.
how do you say your name? Huh? How do you say your name? No, your screen name. Akio.
Chug, chug, chug. And then Greenwood doesn't give a crap about joyful noise. I think it's kind of a cool idea. Honestly, yeah, I think 8 p.m. isn't the wrong time for it, but I think in general, yeah, that's a cool idea. Maybe maybe a 6:30 in the afternoon kind of thing would have been better. Maybe everyone's home from work if they are working, and the lights, it's still light out. I think that's like.
I mean, it's still light out now, but I mean,
yeah, sort of.
Is it for you? It's light out for me, yeah. I mean, it's gloomy out because it's been raining and shit, but it's still light. Yeah, no, definitely earlier in the daytime could be cool. Let's do a solid like 5 p.m. I don't know. Just go for it. I mean, not like we're fucking doing anything.
Yeah. So, all right. So Fatale. One of the concepts in this, which I thought was an interesting idea, is so it's a sort of a subversion or a diversion of the concept of the femme fatale from a lot of like crime and like noir literature, of this sort of manipulative female character who can deceive and distract men. And in this, it basically takes the idea of femme fatale being a literary device and turning it into like an actual like supernatural curse. And I was wondering if that was something that you picked up while you were reading, and if you thought it was an interesting reinvention of those ideas.
It was, like I said, I definitely picked up that she referenced it a few times, but kind of picked up kind of how men are just around here. You kind of notice, especially there's like a scene where she's walking down the street with one of the characters, and everyone's turning and looking at her except for like one person, and you kind of tell she has some sort of like that aura, that whole like, oh, she makes head turns when she walks in the room. But there's a lot of difference between making a few head turns versus like everyone in the fucking street stopping what they're doing and staring at you as you walking down the street. So, I mean, it definitely had that cool supernatural element to it. And I think it worked pretty well.
Yeah.
They kind of hint at it a little bit. I think I assume they explore it a lot more in the next few volumes of actually what's really going on with her.
Yeah, so one of the things that from what I understand, they get into in the future is not only like the different things that are ascribed to people with, or different things that are ascribed to her as a femme fatale or as a fatale in the context of this, but they also get into the history of fatales or femme fatales, and she wasn't the first one, basically.
Oh shit!
And the idea of this archetype as being a thing throughout history of there've been different fatales that are empowered by this supernatural, one of these Lovecraftian gods, and I think that. Once it starts, we'll definitely come back. We'll probably come back in and do like volume 2 in a few episodes. But I think there are various, the idea of there being a history of this, especially 50s, 70s. I know that Josephine or Joe is not the only one in the book, so it'll be interesting to see like that as an archetype and see how that interacts with the. I'm trying to remember his name. The bald mustachioed character.
Oh, Bishop.
Bishop, yeah. If there are other versions of Bishop, too, I'll be interested to see that.
Because I assume it's the only people that are like, and I haven't read, obviously I haven't read volume 2, but with the jumps, and because of the references of her, pretty much living for so fucking long, I assume that the main, like the male protagonist characters are going to be different through each volume. I don't know if it's going to be the same, old boy who, lost his leg and shit and stuff. But, I'm very curious to see I'm really curious to see I'm going to probably start reading the second volume tonight because I'm very curious on that because it kind of ends where like, oh shit, I want to read more of this. Like the way it ends is it's wild, and I like that. And so I definitely assume that obviously Bishop is still in it because no spoilers or nothing, but at the very end, that whole scene. So
yeah. That's one of the things that that we talked about before is I think we're going to move away from doing a plot breakdown during these episodes.
Exactly.
And I think that allowing people to have the opportunity to read these things for themselves, I think it's actually going to be good.
Yeah, read it. I really, like I said, I enjoyed so much of it just from like just the goriness of it, just to like the subtle like love, like some of the subtle love crap. Not even the subtle love. There's a lot. It's like not even subtle love crap, but the subtle little things. She hints about being like, this is the first time I've died, and I'm like, what the fuck? Imagine that you're hanging out with this smoking hot, lady, and she's like, here's this house, this old decrepit house. It's the first place I died, and you're just like, the fuck? But it's cool, like watching like the psychology of like, what's his name, Hank. They went back in time, kind of like how he's freaked out about what happened in the house. He's like freaked out, but he like has this all of a sudden gets all calm, and then all of a sudden he convinces himself, oh, she was protecting me from this crazy hobo. And it's kind of wild seeing like kind of how these people are influenced by her, and just kind of how in depth it goes, and it's to the point of where, as we get near, the end, one of the main characters, had to basically use like a lot of blood magic, a lot of curse stuff, just so he was influenced by her, just so he could like pretty much severed her connection with her just to be able to like pull that off at the end. And it's really cool. I think it's a lot of like this overall volume feels like it's a lot of obviously it's putting things in motion for this big universe that I'm not sure how many volumes there's. I'm not sure how far they push this, but it feels like it's just setting up the stage basically of like, this is kind of what's going on. And that's how really all volume 1 felt like. You don't get super attached to really any of the characters. You're kind of learning the universe, learning kind of what's going on and stuff. And then, there's a lot of fucked up shit along the way. So I'm really curious to see where they take the universe, where they take, Bishop, as, he returns and stuff. I'm really curious to see, like, especially the very end where, he fucking, I don't know if are we going with spoilers or how are we doing this? Are we just talking about it or?
Let's talk about it. We'll, if people complain about spoilers, we'll maybe dial back on them, but feel free.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was really interesting, like, like I think as we explored like Bishop's character a little bit, like I'm like, oh, that's cool. He's kind of, he's not the devil. He's obviously like a higher up Han. He's not an old god, obviously, but he's up there.
I think the idea is he's a human that has been adjusted quite a bit by the machinations of the elder gods, but he's not actually an elder god himself.
One of the obviously the most fucked up scene in this entire story was when he visited, Hank's wife, and and it doesn't show anything, but just the conversations about everything that's happened, the fact that he basically tore her the fuck apart, ate her up. They alluded to him like tearing out the baby, eating the baby, but obviously at the end that didn't happen because the baby was used as a vessel for him to come back. But like the very end there, just kind of like that whole final, the final climax of, oh God, what's his fucking name? Booker, Booker pulling it off. You kind of get the idea as it sets up in the beginning of the book, like he's some piece of shit. How did you go through? You kind of start, and they don't go in super detail because it's definitely not a story that's going to sit down and just like hold your hand through it and like, well, this is his, like, everything that's happened. But they go through enough of his history, you kind of realize, he's obviously lived a long time. He's obviously, had that connection with with Joe and stuff, and obviously they're very close, and so you saw how he changes, and she even comments on how he's changed. But
yeah, I'm curious if they're going to get into the World War II storyline, because clearly there's a lot of stuff going on there. Obviously, there's weird, tentacle monsters wearing SS uniforms. So I'm curious if they're going to get into that.
I hope so, because that's going to be. Although I did really like his like sunglass goons that followed him. The goon dudes that just that one scene of one of them just like licking the blood off the dudes. Like there's a scene where there's a guy with half of his head blown off. The mobster's place, and one of the guys just like licking blood off his fingers from him. Just these goons, man. They're fucking. There's these like just like fucking wearing these like sunglasses, and they don't have names or anything. They're just goons.
Yeah.
Fucking, those were pretty great. Let's see.
Yeah. The next, so the next volume is set in the 70s. The one after that, I'm actually not sure of the one after. Oh, the one after that is set from the Depression, the Middle Ages, and the Old West.
Oh.
The fourth era appears to be set in, or the fourth volume appears to be set in mid-90s Seattle. So that'll be interesting.
There we go. We'll definitely have to do that.
Yeah.
But I also like how like it kind of goes into Booker's backstory a little bit. How he's like, as a kid, being able to see things. Like there's definitely a lot of hint between the veils of the world, like kind of like the different layers of stuff, and being the fact that he was always able to kind of like see through that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a character I kind of wish, and I'm not sure what's going to happen because he does die, but I don't know if he's dead. I don't know, because he seems like a character that should probably be explored more, and maybe they kind of go back, kind of explain him more, especially if they go back to like the war stuff.
Yeah.
It seems like that's kind of around the time they met, was during like the wars. But I don't know. It's the whole like it's. Yeah, I have to go through and definitely like read this again, absorb more of it. But it's like I said, it's definitely of all the things I've read lately. I definitely enjoyed the Batman stuff, the Superman stuff was fun, but this kind of I feel like really hits home a lot more too. Just
awesome.
Just the artwork.
Yeah, from that, what do you think of Sean Phillips, who's the pencil and ink guy, and Dave Stewart, who's the color guy? How do you feel about the artwork? Because it feels, to me, it feels really like appropriate for what the story that they're telling. That I think maybe wouldn't work for a lot of other stuff, but it feels like exactly right for crime.
The only thing, my only gripe, and I'm not sure if it's even a gripe, was as I think of a noir story, maybe more of a black and white kind of a thing. But at the same time, I do feel like the coloring, the style, and everything, it's perfect. Yeah. And I said it's not quite a gripe. It just, I kind of would be like, oh, if we're doing like the whole detective noir, let's just go balls deep. They really hit the dialogue really good for that. They really capture the element, especially in the very beginning when you're hearing, the thoughts of what's his face.
Hank.
Not Hank. Nick. Is that his name?
Nick. Oh yeah. Nick Lash. Nicholas Lash.
Nick Lash. Yeah. I like it. Like he kind of like he starts off just very like, okay, this is definitely detective, noir, and then you kind of go like, oh fuck, no, this isn't. This is more than that. But the artwork I like a lot, especially the use of the coloring, the kind of gore in it. The gore is not. It's kind of over the top. It's not really over the top, especially like there's certain scenes where they kind of hint at what's happening. They don't fully come right out and say it, but like the times, I don't know. I'm going through.
I'm gonna just show this to the camera. This is one of just the example of like the so just like the level of just like being able to suggest a lot of things with just a slathering of like black ink.
Yeah.
Just I feel like Sean Phillips is really good at that. Dave Stewart's colors just the fact that he doesn't overcolor, and that's what like one of my main gripes with like modern comics is like everything is trying to be like they're trying to like render things with color instead of just having like okay the color is because like a guy's wearing a yellow t-shirt so he's gonna we're gonna color the t-shirt yellow. They try to do a lot way too much with like digital painting and trying to make like different like a whole like gradient of yellow through things and making sure that you're defining each clothing fold and where shadows are. And I feel like there's an amount of that you can do, but the level of it a lot of like modern colorists do, I kind of hate. Like I absolutely infuriates me. But I feel like Sean Phillips and Dave Stewart, like their dedication to making this look like perhaps it could have existed in like 1960s type, or 1950s like comic book. This feels like it could have been like one of those like EC Comics Tales from the Crypts adjacent crime comics. And like one of the things I really like about it is I'll get it close, but you could actually see where his lines are going past the panel. And as far as like making that you'll see red on there. The fact that I see those, like it just feels so I don't know, organic to me compared to a lot of like digital pencil and ink stuff. I love stuff like that. I absolutely adore it because it feels real, even though it's on my iPad screen.
He does it quite a bit. Like a lot of the panels later on, like you see, like kind of pokes through and stuff. It's definitely I really do like this art style quite a bit. I still like. I just when Bishop changes, it's such a great fucking thing. But it feels like to me, kind of too, as I'm looking through it, he found that manuscript from the beginning. I might be wrong, but I feel like most of this is just Nick reading the manuscript, and that's what we're seeing. It's the book.
My impression was that it was not Nick reading that script, but I don't know. But I should go back and reread it. My impression is that the script will come out later, but maybe that's not what they're looking at now.
Because it looks like I'm not sure. Maybe because they were talking about the book and stuff. The first book he wrote, which he does comment that this is very different than anything he's ever wrote, and just skimming through it, it's already better than anything he's ever wrote. And he does comment on it, like the interludes. I actually think it is Nick reading it because you have the interludes where it goes back to Nick and he's like commenting on it, and things like that. And so I think that's kind of because you at the very end with the epilogue, he's kind of going to try to talk to his dad of like, hey, you took this picture. Who is this woman?
Yeah. And
then through the manuscript of him reading is when he's realizing that Jo is not who she says she is. Like she's obviously not who he thought she was. Basically.
Yeah. She's not the granddaughter of that person. She is that person.
Exactly. And so it makes sense the fact that because you don't see a lot of Nick. You see him in the beginning. You see him in like flashes. So I really think a lot of this because I think he's narrating all of it because he's all talking. Everything's almost in the third person besides when you see Nick.
Yeah.
So the writing is from what I'm noticing is that it's all going off of a third person kind of a narrative versus when you started off it's Nick just you basically as far I could be wrong. Let me see real quick. Let me go back, but. From what I can read from it, it's basically when you see Nick, he's basically, I think he's. Let me see here. Let me go back. I could be completely wrong with that. I might have misread something, but to me, it feels like he's the one narrating it, and he's just kind of reading this book, and then it flashes back to the interludes of him talking about it and stuff. I don't know. Let me see here as this loads. Yeah, because very first off the bat, it's you hear he's talking. He's having his own inner monologue. That's not referring to him in the third person whatsoever. And then you get into when you get out of that, he finds it, the whole accident and everything. Then it kicks into, the other story. The story, which I assume is the manuscript. I assume that what he's reading is this chapter 1. Yeah, because it's going chapter 1, chapter 2.
Okay.
So I think a lot of it is he's basically reading pretty much the story, and so that's 'cause he just commented on it, like when he hits those interludes too. He makes some comments of like, I gotta find that interlude, but oh my god, I hope they do explore the world, because I just hit that World War II scene. Like, I really hope I would like to see like an expansion on that.
Yeah. I'm really interested. That sort of, as much as I'm loath to say it, that sort of like occult World War II thing is really interesting. And that's one of the more interesting parts of like the Hellboy books has been.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That entire that tie into what that is.
I mean, I guess like the History Channel made an entire like channel based out of like, you know, the secret occult history of the, you know, of World War II. So I guess, you know.
Yeah, I'm going through the scene, but I do like let's see, I like the scene, the scene in the very end, especially when he rips out Bishop's eyes. You know, I'm not trying to kill you. That whole scene was, you can't, like, basically like, you can't kill me, blah blah blah. And he just rips out his eyes, so when he reincarnates, he's fucking blind. And there's a lot of cool stuff, especially to kind of skim through it now, looking at the writing and stuff. I'm like, god damn, like,
yeah,
you appreciate it a lot more too. And it's definitely the way it comes off to me is that he's just reading the book, and I hope Volume 2 kind of goes over it a little bit more and stuff, and kind of sees what happens with it.
Yeah. So this team, they've done a ton of specifically like noir crime stuff. This is the only horror stuff that they've done. But they've done a ton of noir crime stuff and a little bit of like spy, like James Bond type stories. And it's kind of interesting because like, once again, like this art style, like Ed Brubaker, he feels like a guy who can write anything as long as there's a good story in it. Like, he is, if you remember your like Marvel stuff, he's the guy who came up with the idea of Bucky coming back and being the Winter Soldier.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so he created the Winter Soldier. Like, he didn't create Bucky. Obviously, that was like a Jack Kirby and Jim Simon, I want to say, somebody Simon character. But the idea of him coming back from the dead and being the Winter Soldier is a thing that Ed Brubaker specifically created. So he's worked in a lot of different types of characters, a lot of different types of stories. But it does feel like Sean Phillips, as an artist, probably would only work in this kind of context. Maybe you can put him in a superhero world, but it would have to be this kind of superhero world where there's a lot of like, it would need to be gritty. It would need to be like a Jessica Jones, Daredevil kind of thing, and not I don't think you could put him in a Spider-Man type world or a Fantastic Four type situation. I don't know. It's interesting because, like I said, Ed Brubaker had a long time in Marvel and DC, and I think he's completely quit now to just do indie stuff. Like, I think he's just working on what he wants to work on, which I think is like very crime and spy stuff. Yeah.
Gregg and Brubaker basically was able to sign a 5-year contract with Image, which is great. Where basically, in terms of the deal, like, no matter what comic he gives them, they're going to publish. Like, it doesn't matter. He doesn't pitch for them and stuff. So reading that, he said he's like wanted that arrangement for years. And so that's when I guess the first stage release was The Fade Out, which is a Hollywood period piece.
That seems perfect for him. Yeah, like Golden Age Hollywood, probably also like crime related, or at least like, you know, political and I guess like politics of an industry kind of way. That does seem right up his alley.
It does.
That's interesting that he got a 5-year deal with Image. So I'm not sure. Have you ever heard of Image's deals as like a creator?
Don't they pretty much give you pretty much total control over?
Yeah, so they do. Their deal, from what I understand, is you have to pitch the project to them. You pitch them with a certain amount of pages of the first issue, along with you have to have the writer, the artist, the colorist, the letterer. You basically have to have your whole team already. They don't pay individual people. They pay you basically for the sales of the project. So whoever is in charge of the project, let's say like the writer is the lead on whatever the project is, that person has to hire the whole team and basically divvy out the payments from there.
Oof.
And that, from what I understand, is a very difficult process to work out.
Yeah, that is. Oh,
But it
wow.
also gives Image Comics the opportunity to basically they just have to handle printing and distribution, so it allows them to be a lot more. I guess they don't have to worry so much about being like a Marvel type situation where they have to have 2 or 3 things that are hits. Like they don't have to have a Spider-Man. They don't have to have a Batman. They don't have to have things like that because the burden there's so much less of a burden on them.
I do. Like the more I've read from Image, the more I just really like Image. They seem to be just that. They did the Max. They did a bunch of other cool shit. Seems that like kind of cool indie art place. Like I said, if I get any comics published, I'd love to get published under Image. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Like, here, guys, go pitch it to us. Like, well, I got a bottle of tequila. Let's make a comic. Here we go. Let's do this.
It's like we need 8 pages of art, and you just send them 8 pictures of your bottle of tequila.
What's your creative process like? Boom. There we go. And let me show you. I have a graph on how my creative process is going to change. So as you pay me for this work, you notice the bottles are getting more and bigger, more expensive. You get the really high tier tequila. Once we hit high tier tequila area, that's when we will have the ultimate story, the ultimate comic. But we got to get up there. We got to get to the high tier tequila. That's like $500-800 a bottle. But I'm telling you, man, it's worth it. It's fucking worth it. How many bottles do you go through a day? That's none of your fucking business. One. But 2, I guarantee that once we're done, you're just going to make so much fucking money off of this. I don't know. I'm probably not like if I'm ever in a comic project, anyway, don't let me pitch anything. Don't let me pitch. Don't let me do interviews ever. Me and Tommy had this like long running joke with like music price. I'm like, no matter what, you do not leave me alone to do an interview anywhere. If we have any sort of sponsorship or deal anywhere, we will lose it in 2 seconds because something's probably going to get said, or something's going to happen, and then I'm going to go on a long rant on how like Aha is like the greatest band in the world and break it down in 1.5 hours, and it's not going to be good for anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you do that interview to a Norwegian press outlet, and they're like, "We love these people." Yeah, like I know Aha in the States was a 1-hit wonder, and Aha in the UK was a 2-hit wonder, but in Norway they had a 30-year career.
Oh yeah, like I'm so pissed because I didn't know, because I'm dumb and I guess I didn't follow them on social media like I thought it was. But Aha was doing a tour, and I'm like, and they were doing the same.
Yeah, it was their last tour, right? Recently.
I don't know, but they were doing a North America tour, and they were playing the same time that I think was it New Order and Pet Shop Boys are playing the Gorge or something.
Oh, okay.
And then fucking Courtney's like, we're talking to Tommy. I'm like, they're like, well, these are like, it's the same weekend as that. And they're like, where are you gonna go? I'm like, I'm gonna go see fucking Aha. Like, if Peter Hook's not in New Order, fuck that. Like, and Pet Shop Boys, I love Pet Shop Boys, but I mean, they're no Aha. But I guess it all sold out. Every fucking where was sold the fuck out. Sold out. Like, they're still huge here. Like, they're able to draw these. They're sold out. Like, they played like a few shows. Like, they played a couple shows in LA. They're going to New York and some other places. Sold out. Completely sold the fuck out. And I guess a lot of old middle-aged people really like fucking Aha. Like, I love Aha. Yeah. Like, I would 110%. Like, if they play anywhere, I'll go see them.
Peter Hook and the Light.
How was that? I really wanted to go to that. I really wanted to go to that really bad, and it was just work wasn't working out for that. So
it was really good.
Because they
It
didn't do
was
like the Joy Division set. They didn't do like a whole Joy Division, and they went into
yeah. They did
Republic
two
and
New
Technique.
Order albums. So they did Technique and Republic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Then they did another set which was a mix of classic New Order and classic Joy Division songs.
And how was it with they got the his vocalist from that one project he worked.
Monaco,
Yeah,
yeah.
Monaco.
He
How
sounds
was
just
that?
like Bernard, so like I don't have
So,
any kind of
yeah.
problem with it.
So it's like I'm seeing the best part of New Order. I got Peter Hook and
Yeah.
Bernard sound alike here, without the firing of Peter Hook.
Yeah, they did World in Motion, We're Singing
shit.
for England song from
How'd
the
that-
World Cup. Yeah, they did that song.
How'd that go down to like the only two people in the audience that were like, yeah?
They got a Seattle venue full of people chanting Ingerland, so it went pretty well.
I hope you like recorded that. That'd be great.
I think I did. I think I have it up on Instagram. Actually, I'll send the video to you. Yeah.
I'll have to see that. That's great. But I was upset because I saw when they announced the tour. When I think I was still living in Seattle when they announced the tour, and it was like they announced like early last year, and then they were coming in November, and tickets were like fucking $17 or some shit. It weren't bad, and I was like, "Fuck, I gotta go see Peter Hook and the Likes." I've been wanting to. And then like this whole like stupid thing. There's so much cool shit was coming.
Yeah.
Like Swans was coming back.
He had the thing where like it was at a different venue and then it got sold out and then they moved it to the Neptune. I think it was one of those where they've done that with 3 or 4 shows that I've gone to now. I think they did with Peter Murphy as well.
Yeah, Peter Murphy when they moved him to the Moor or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good shows, and like what was it? Yesterday would have been a Cruel World Festival, which we had tickets for. The most expensive, the most expensive to go see. More seeing everyone walk out after Bauhaus. Like, we were joking with a bunch of friends in Boston. Huge in the gospel. They're like, we joke around up here like that's the most expensive show for everyone just to like walk out after Bauhaus. Like everyone's gonna leave the headliner. Morrissey's gonna come on to like a desolate crowd. I would still be there throwing rocks at him. Like, you racist. I mean,
I hate you, but play Suede Head.
I hate you. Let's hear some hits first.
Yeah.
His cover of Back on the Chain Gang is phenomenal. Like the dude has the voice. I just wish he wasn't a piece of shit. He always reminds me of I wouldn't say there's nothing harmless in racism, but I think he's one of those like harmless like uncles that just regurgitates shit that his friends or people he want to impress thinks and say, and so he just I don't know, like I don't take him serious enough to really think that he's just this stupid racist more than I think he's just this old ass posh dude.
He's like 50% crappy old man and 50% guy who's just trying to say incendiary things to keep himself in the headlines.
Yeah.
It was like it's one of those things like, I mean, he's saying these absolutely like noxious, terrible things, but it's also like Pitchfork's still covering him, and they're like, Neil Tennant is, in my opinion, like a darling human being. But like Pitchfork doesn't care what Neil Tennant has to say because it's not like offensive or incendiary or anything.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so like, but like also like when you're saying things like that to be, to be incendiary, you're still saying those things. So like it doesn't really matter ultimately if you mean it or not. You're still saying the fucking things, and that's what sucks about it.
It's stupid. Like getting into arguments. I don't have much to do. Like, besides work on shit and do things, I don't have much to do with my life in quarantine. Besides, I should be more creative. I should be working on comics. Should be doing more stuff instead of arguing with dumb people in music groups. Such as one of my biggest pet peeves is I belong to I'm in a music group called it's like Abnormal Music or something. And really, what it is occasionally once a week someone's going to post something by Burzum or Death in June and try to justify why they're posting it, and we don't listen to this Nazi bullshit. Like you're like one step away from posting Screwdriver and being like, "This is what it is." And people try to do the whole separate the art from the artist. I'm like, no. There's certain things like I get like the Manson where Manson did there's difference between bringing awareness to things and doing shock stuff to like make an artistic statement versus you're just a racist piece of shit trying to pass it on. That's what Vargas, that's what, what's his face from Death. And it's one of my biggest pet peeves when people try to do the whole, especially when it comes to Morrissey, you got to separate the art from that. It's like, well, it's easy with Morrissey because I don't think he's that. I don't think he's that racist. I guess. I think he's just a cranky old man that's saying, like you were saying, incendiary stuff. Versus when you have like dipshits out there that are like, oh no, like they try to pass. Oh no, I'm just trying to be like provocative. I'm like, I was provocative about your like fucking 10-page rant about minorities and shit, dude. Chill the fuck out. That's not provocative. You're racist. You're a piece of shit. And fuck you.
Provocative in that case, like in that sense, I think would be closer to like what Leibach does, where they've never come out and said what we do is ironic because I read like I mean also like the like Slavoj Žižek has written like essays about them and how them coming out and saying what they're doing is supposed to be a parody would undermine the parody. Like there's
people go through a lot of mental gymnastics to like justify shit.
Yeah, but it's also like you're not going to do like their deal is like they're very much trying to point people's attention at the idea that like nationalism through certain things and nationalism through directly being fascist is an uncomfortably close thing. Like there's a very thin line and you really need to be careful not to cross that line. So that's why they're doing like, oh yeah, we're covering Queen's One Vision, but in German. So like, FYI, when there's, when Freddie Mercury's singing like one race, one goal, one true decision, like it's very empowering. And everyone's in this together and we all love each other. When you're growling it in German, it feels like really upsetting.
I know, right? It's a huge difference between like unity versus I'm gonna sing an 8.5 minute folk metal song about white people.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. When you're going on like a 2,000 word Facebook rant about how people are how immigrants are destroying the country. There's no room for that to be a commentary on those opinions. You just have those opinions, and that sucks. And it sucks to see people that you like, musicians that you like, doing that. And it's sort of like it gets into the H.P. Lovecraft thing of like maybe you don't need to you don't need to separate art from the artist. You have to kind of understand how especially in like Lovecraft's sense, like his horrible beliefs informed the things that we tend to like about him, and you kind of have to understand that as the continuum of the creator. Mm-hmm. And like if you feel like you can't enjoy art made by people with those opinions, then absolutely stop consuming it and things like that. But also like be cognizant of the fact that be cognizant of the fact that like at any time a person that you like could come out with problematic views, and maybe you need to be a bit more aware of these things.
There's a huge difference between like Lovecraft, we all know his story. We all know what he named his fucking cat and stuff. But Lovecraft comes from, and again, this isn't, I always like to preface these rambles with, this isn't in any way, shape, or form an excuse for it. But, being the time he grew up in, the time frame, how he grew up, I don't
know. I mean, he was bad for the time. Like he was racist against Polish people. Like he was a horrible person.
He was bad, yeah. And, some of his writing had some of that in it. Some of it didn't. Some of it was very like, all right, well, there's no mention of his cat in here, so we're good. There's a cat in here. Like, so like he was, but like there's, and yeah, we got some cool shit from him.
Yeah.
Actually, I was in some Lovecraft groups. I think I'm still in one now. Well, there's one when when the Lovecraft County or whatever, the new show by Jordan Peele coming out, which I'm fucking excited for, because that dude is phenomenal.
It looks like, I saw the trailer. It looks really cool.
It looks crazy good. I like him a lot. He's obviously a great writer. Like his horror stuff is always on point. But when that was announced and that stuff was coming out, so many old white dudes in this group were getting all fucking fired up for fucking Jordan Peterson, or not Jordan Peterson, Jordan Peele and stuff. Fuck Jordan Peterson, but Jordan, fuck that Kermit the Frog looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
Fuck that dude all the way to fuck off. Like I want nothing. But Jordan Peele, like all these dudes were getting so upset. I'm like, well, are you guys upset because you guys don't think he's a good writer, or are you upset because he's black? Because it sounds like you're upset because he's black. And, well, he should have no business doing Lovecraft, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, do you want to see who else has done Lovecraft fucking stuff? Like, 'cause I'm pretty fucking sure he's not the first person that's not white to do Lovecraft, and he certainly isn't alive.
Yeah, so, like, they know this is based off of, like, a book, right? And the book was always about black folks in the South.
Yeah, but people are really fucking dumb. Like, it was like, I left that group after flaming the majority of the group was, the book was shit. Oh, some of them recognized it was the book because they were like, the book was terrible. And I'm like,
so all right, that's at least an opinion I can respect if you don't like the book.
Okay, if you don't like the book, okay. And then I realized, okay, what didn't you like the book? I didn't like what it was about. And then they'd go, and then they'd go, take that extra step. I don't like it was about, black people. I'm like, oh, yeah. Well, there you go. Your opinion's now invalid. Wow. Yeah.
Well, I think in the situation of, like, especially a writer like H.P. Lovecraft, like I said, there's no value in separating the art from the artist, but there is, I think, value in understanding what value the works of, like, a problematic or a shitty or a racist creator could have in the world. And I think, like, H.P. Lovecraft still has resonance in the sense, and, like, he has, like, it's
a writer. I mean,
well, that, but also, like, he has this perspective of being, like, the ultimate outsider. And I think that resonates with people. Like, one of the biggest, like, H.P. Lovecraft scholars is a dude named S.T. Joshi, who is, like, an Indian man. And he will write about it's the value of H.P. Lovecraft is that it is somebody who feels utterly alienated from society. And I feel like ultimately, like, if you really want to find, like, the experience of somebody who is ultimately alienated from society, it's like, it's going to be of, like, black folks during segregation. That is is in the spirit of Lovecraft 100%, even if they're not the type of people he likes.
Yeah, it's 100%. That way. I mean, we've definitely read a lot of stories and movies and things like that about, I don't think white people really can encapsulate that kind of isolation or alienation as much as, like, anyone else besides us could. I mean, I've had my share of alienation and isolation, but I'm never going to, like, hold the candle or, like, I've experienced this. Everyone goes through shit, but at the same time, there's definitely people that, by far go through it way fucking more than any of us could possibly imagine. So it's really cool to see when we have subject matter that does touch up on that and stuff. So people have the ability to, like, okay, cool, I can actually, look at this and, get something out of it,
Yeah, I mean, some of the people who I would consider to be the folks who carry the torch for that sort of, like, alienated weird literature would be people like Thomas Ligotti, who is like a diagnosed schizophrenic.
Oh yeah.
It would be people like Willem H. Pugmore, who unfortunately he was a Seattleite. Actually, he died recently. Which was really tragic. But he was a gay Mormon, and so, like, the idea of, like, I can kind of understand why somebody like that would feel alienated from general society because, like, you're, like, one person, you're part of one thing that separates you from the world, and you're part of another thing that separates you even further from that world, and it's it's a type of writer. I feel like alienation, like, especially with people from marginalized or like, negative mental health. I guess that's a bad way of putting it. Like, the neurodivergent backgrounds. I think Lovecraft has a tendency to resonate with people like that, and I think it's that can be the value of a creator like that, a creator who's demonstrably shitty, but if his work helps people and if it helps them relate or it helps them feel less bad, as long as they're not doing terrible things themselves, I think it's maybe it's a net good for the world.
Maybe.
Yeah. That's got to be people's own. People will have their own experiences and their own opinions on that, and they're welcome to them, and I'm welcome to I'm happy to listen to them.
Yeah, I'm always down to listen to people that have something decent to say that isn't just regurgitating.
Yeah. Shit. I think if anybody's watching this, especially in the future, if you have any Lovecraft opinions or any whether they're good, bad, or ugly, just pitch them to us. Just don't be like just don't give us like a blanket. Lovecraft good, Lovecraft bad. Give us
give us something to work with here. Give us something to chew on a little bit. Don't just Lovecraft was bad.
Yeah.
Yes,
I think. Yeah, that's sort of like the Twitter world of like X is bad. You must think that X is bad, and if you don't, you're bad. I'm not a fan of that. But I mean, if there are things that we're not paying attention to, I think that's a thing I'd like to hear about.
Of course, yeah. I'm always down to hear some cool ass opinions from people.
Yeah,
as long as they're well constructed. Let's get something good in there. Give us something to really work with.
Yeah.
If not, I guess we'll ask random people on the street. What do you think about Lovecraft? Why are you breaking quarantine? Shut up. We're just gonna show up in random people's homes and just be like, why do you like Lovecraft? Why the fuck are you in my home? Answer the question. We've taken this to the street. Welcome to Frankenstein House. Has gone to the streets now. We will get cameras. We'll get our phones out. We'll do our own little podcast. We'll break into random people's houses. And we will ask them what they think about Lovecraft at 2:30 a.m. about Lovecraft. Oh, God, that's how you get arrested. That's how you get shut down. But I don't know. We're always open to suggestions and things. There's things we like to see, things we don't like to see. If you want to see Gregg get totally blasted on podcast, go ahead. Let's do a vote for that.
Yeah, I mean, Superman, I was real sloppy by the end of it, but I'm only a couple drinks deep there in this one. I think I'm a little bit more lucid. Might be in a better situation, but let's see how people feel. If I really need to get like a real trash before the podcast, we can negotiate that. I want to see more viewers before I start getting into that.
And definitely want to get some viewership up. And if we're still having, I was just thinking, if we're still having weird shit with YouTube, we can really just go to like Twitch. Twitch, for the most part, I gotta read their TOS again, but basically it's pretty hard to like get pulled off of Twitch. You basically don't do stupid shit.
Yeah.
I'm not drinking at all. I'm actually drinking orange juice, Twitch. Very, very good orange juice and good. I think you can drink on Twitch. I don't remember. I don't know, but you can't we're not popular enough for anyone to know this. So, but if you get that,
I know some DJs right now during quarantine. They're doing like live streams of DJ sets.
Yeah.
Occasionally they're getting pulled down, or at least they claim they're getting pulled down. So, I guess I won't go playing my new ordered Mega Mix, but
no, but as we continue these episodes, we'll continue to refine our format. Do cool things. We got that sweet ass intro video, which I am insanely
so fucking cool.
It's the coolest thing in the world. We're working on some other stuff as we go. I think the biggest cool thing we do is to focus we focus a bit more on Twitch, get to affiliate at least.
Yeah.
You get to like partner, you start making money by streaming, which isn't, it's whatever. I'm not in it to make money, but it's cool to, use that to like, I don't know, buy a solid gold toilet seat or something. What Metallica did with their money. I don't know.
Yeah. Should we start trying to do game streams or something? Is that a thing we can do on our channel? Or?
Oh, yeah, we could totally. Yeah, we can insanely. We can game stream. We could look at since we do horror, we can look at horror games. We can look at whatchamacallit. We can find some comic book related games too. We can go through and play.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff we can do. We can just set up quick streaming and play stuff. But yeah, we can absolutely do that. I don't know what kind of horror stuff you're into that you like to play besides like Layers of Fear. I think was.
Yeah, that was the only one that I've played. I know that the same team made that Blair Witch game. I never ended up playing it.
It was the shit.
That's
so that game. I want you're gonna do some homework. You're not doing anything else besides working on comics and whatever it is Gregg does during the day and stuff. Working on comics.
Yeah.
Hang out with his partner, but the Blair Witch game, you guys should sit down and play it. So the only advice, have you read anything about it? Have you done any research?
I watched a couple of briefly. I watched some YouTube playthrough videos.
Okay, so you didn't notice any spoilers. You didn't get anything.
No, I know you have a dog, and I know that I know that there are months. It's like Alan Wake, right? Where you scare off the monsters with your flashlight.
Kind of, yeah. So basically, yeah, your light will stop whatever's on. So the Blair Witch, I'm gonna go through and play it again. I played it when it first came out and loved it. Went through it. So Blair Witch is a very unique. It doesn't seem like it's a very unique trope. It's based off the Blair Witch. It seems like you play games like that. The Blair Witch is very unique in terms of its AI and how the game progresses. The game itself, and the only advice I'm going to give you throughout the game is the game is not meant to be played the way you think it's meant to be played. It's not. The way you're playing it is wrong, and you will know that's the only advice I'm going to give you. And I didn't realize it until I went through it. I'm like, what the fuck? Things you feel like that are natural that you're supposed to be doing, you're not supposed to do. But it's hard to really extrapolate on that. I can't break that down without getting on spoilers and stuff. Play it however you think it needs to be played. The only advice I'm going to give you is that because it's fucking wild. The game monitors everything you do to the simplest thing of how often do you pet your dog? Minute things of is your dog close to you during the game? Do you let him run away? Do you let him do everything you do from the point of where you start that game and you pass that fence? Everything you do from that point is monitored heavily by the game, and the game reacts to that. It reacts to all of that. And the ending and everything else is determined on how you play the game, which is really cool. There's a lot of games that have done something similar, but I think the Blair Witch, I don't know if they perfected it, but I think I would love to see more games, especially horror, psychological horror games, take a page from that and develop similar things. Because the one thing I really like about horror games, I love the old school classics. I love, like Silent Hill, Resident Evil. I love survival horror. I like psychological horror. But I like games that just fuck with you and surprise the fuck out of you. It's not jump scares that fucks with you. It's the fact that you're playing and you realize as you beat this game, you're like, holy fuck, I thought I was doing I wasn't even pissed when I got the first ending I got. I was stunned. I was like, wait, what? Like, is this game is just one of those games no matter what you do, and you're just fucked? And I'm like, then I had to look it up. I did some research real quick. I'm like, okay, I beat the game. I typically won't read anything about a game until I beat it. And I went through and read some stuff, and I was like, wow, like, holy fuck, that is, when I saw that, I wasn't pissed. I was like, that is fucking cool. Like, how you play this game. And it's not just like conversations. Like, conversations matter, but it's not like most games where you have like dialogue. If you put certain things that moves the story or changes the storyline. It's everything, every minute thing you do from you start the game to the end. Factors into everything you do, the paths you take, who you talk to, if you answer your phone, how many times you answer your phone, do you fucking text your phone and shit like that? Examine just everything about it. So it could be cool. I mean, you go through and play it, or we can live stream you playing it. See how that goes.
Let me figure out if my computer can handle Blair Witch, and we can maybe make a
Nice. I
little
think
event of it.
you still you play the little Xbox, right?
Yeah. So I have an Xbox in the living room. I think I'd end up playing it in here. It's I'd take up
I'll
less
show you.
space.
I'll have to off stream. I'll have to show you, but you can stream the Xbox to your computer. And basically, it doesn't matter what your computer specs kind of matter a little bit, but you're basically streaming from the Xbox onto your PC.
All right.
Because you run Windows, right? Too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can do that on there. You can run Windows on it. You can stream your Xbox and play your Xbox on your computer and stuff. Unfortunately, if your partner's out there trying to use the Xbox, she's not going to be able to use the Xbox.
Yeah, wouldn't be using the Xbox, but as long as I can just boot up the Xbox when
You just boot it up.
my partner uses like the Roku stick,
Oh, yeah.
I think we're good.
That's perfect. Yeah, I've done that before, but you can work that way. And I'll whenever you're ready to test that, I'll let me know and I'll show you the app to get and stuff like that. Set that up, and it's fucking great. Like
Cool.
I've already went through and beat it, but it'd be kind of cool. We can play some games. We can do whatever. I mean, honestly, like whatever you want to do or anything you want to add. I mean, I'm down for anything.
Okay. Yeah. We'll put that in as maybe that can be our like midweek stream. Will be video games, and then on weekends we'll do comics until this whole crazy time is over.
Video games and music and comics. Fuck yeah. But I'll do some research on some games. I think there's a game a friend of mine's been playing that's actually got banned, that got taken down because they criticized the Chinese government and stuff. And I've been meaning to check that game out because apparently it's a pretty good fucking horror game, and I have to hit her up and get the name of that. But
shit, I've heard of this. I think it's called Detention. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. It's like an adventure game, right? I used to play a lot of those actually.
No, it was give me a second. Hold on, I'm gonna real quick. What was the name of that fucking game? She had messaged it to me a while back, and I've been meaning to. Because you have to. Let me see here, because I want to check that the fuck out. And God, she's mentioned it a million fucking times, and I keep forgetting it. It's a really good fucking game, from what I hear anyway. So we can do shit like that. We can find some good scary games. I mean, hell, if there's anything people recommend us trying out, fuck it, we'll try it out. We could do some. I mean, I had to add you on the Xbox, but I bet there's some co-op horror games out there.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be fun, yeah.
All right. So, anything to plug before we call it a night?
Not that I can think of.
Cool.
Other than the fact that this comic is fucking great and everybody should be reading it. Like you like Lovecraft, you like detective comic, you like seeing people dismembered and killed by tentacle monsters. Fucking do it. It's great. I love it. What about you? You got anything?
I'm gonna plug boy as usual. So in addition to this is available on Comixology.com. This is available on Seer Nova Comics. So if you go to either of those outlets, you can check it out. I think Seer Nova have it up for free right now, so that's pretty sweet. The other thing is the creator, so the artist who did the kind of wraparound story is a fellow named Emilio Trera.
Nice.
I am working with him on another project. It's going to be a 7-page short. I'm going to have it up for, and you folks can go to my Twitter, which I have in the name thing there. If you sign up, so on my Twitter will lead you to my mailing list. If you sign up on my mailing list, and it'll just be tinyletter.com/ritual83 if you're just looking to type that into the search bar right now. But if you sign up for my mailing list, I'm going to be putting all 7 pages of this up for download pretty soon. I just received the last of the pages today, and I'm going to be receiving a cover pretty soon, along with everything. So yeah, so we're going to have some new stuff coming out, and yeah, that'll be it. I'm going to have some stories in some upcoming anthologies, pro stuff. So I'm pretty excited about new material.
What's the plot of this new story? Any
so
don't want to give it away, but any
okay, so here's my pitch. A bank robbery goes horribly wrong.
Yes.
A series of okay. A bank robbery goes horribly wrong. A collection of goons manage to sneak a bunch of hostages out the back into a van and drive it right out of town. They manage to hold themselves up at an old abandoned mansion.
Yes.
An old abandoned mansion where legend has it a bunch of people committed suicide in the 1950s and 1960s, one after another after another. What happens when hardened criminals show up in a situation they have no control over? And it's basically armed goons versus ghosts.
Nice. Oh my god, I'm excited for that. I want to check that the fuck out.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll work on my pitch for that, just because wasn't sure I was going to get put on the spot, but yeah, my it's written. I think it's really good. I think it's a really cool little. It's basically going to be a sort of a side story to some of the keepsake stuff. It's just short horror story. And you can kind of consider this to be an in-between story in between the first edition of Keepsakes and the second, whenever that comes out.
Have you started on the second edition yet?
I've started writing it, and it's one of those things where I want to make sure that we get I want to get the right artists. I want to get the right situation together where I can afford it. Because obviously, with a lot of this crowdfunding stuff, you got to pay for a lot of it out of pocket. So it might end up being a situation where you see a couple of different projects before Keepsakes. I have a sci-fi project, and I have a couple of horror projects I'm thinking about doing before I do another edition.
I'm excited to see what you come out with, as I am daily currently harassing Tommy to work on concept art for the Macho Man Crow. Harassing him daily. Of course, he's been super busy with work and stuff. Because actually, he's still working with his job. They're considered essential, so he still works and stuff. Talked to him earlier. I'm still harassing him. So as I get more updates on that, I'll post something. Hopefully, I get some concept art soon. I have a buddy I've been talking to about doing cover art, who's a phenomenal artist, really good artist. So I'd like to. He's more polished than definitely more polished than Tommy. Just because Tommy has his own style he likes to work with. Nothing against that, but just to kind of see that contrast of I don't know, man. I don't know, I don't know the direction to go to with a cover art for that. You go blown all out, fucking Macho Man Crow in all his glory, looking thing. I don't know. I'm been going through reading the old Crow comics to get more inspiration. I would like to base it more off of comic book versus the movie. The movie was good, but Devotion is the name of the game, by the way. Devotion.
Okay. All right.
Devotion. So I'm gonna be getting I'm gonna be getting a place where we can purchase this game.
Okay.
So I'll shoot you some information for that. We'd probably check that out. Maybe do some playthroughs. I need to do some research on this game and see if it's. We can stream whatever the fuck we want. I don't think we're gonna get pulled for streaming a game, but
yeah, especially on Twitch, the platform where you stream games.
Yeah, you guys aren't supposed to play this game. You can't say Winnie the Pooh. Fuck. Sorry. And that's how we got our funding cut from China. My bad. Sorry, guys. But yeah, no, I'm down for whatever. So we'll figure something out. Maybe if we get something sorted out, I don't know, maybe a Wednesday, kind of a good midweek kind of a thing.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Yeah, Wednesday game stream, and then Saturday comic stream. That'd be fun.
Hell yeah, that could be fun. I think the game will probably boost our viewership up a bit, especially
I think so.
we can work on that.
I gotta work on my PewDiePie scared response.
Oh no! Don't reference that dude. That dude's racist.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, that dude's a wild piece of shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least you didn't say like Logan Paul or something. I mean,
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
work on your jump scares. We can what we'll do is we can just.
there's a guy I like John Wolfe. Have you seen John Wolfe?
I don't think so. No.
All right, he does a lot of like horror stuff, and he seems nice. He seems good. Maybe he's terrible. I don't know, but he seems good. He seems good.
We'll check it out. Do some
some
stuff. But yeah, no, totally. We can set shit up and do that. Figure out streaming. So for streaming and casting, we'll set up a Discord channel for this because for streaming and casting, we'll probably need to be in a channel doing the voiceover with that. So
yeah,
I'd have to look it up and set it up and see. We'll go there. I don't know if you've streamed games before, but
no, I never
have.
I
don't know if we've streamed games on StreamYard. So let's what is
I can sort of like I can screen share kind of anything on StreamYard. So
but
I think it works.
It's a little different. I think I'm not sure. We'll try. What's your schedule like the next the next day or so? We can do like we can do some testing with it, so that way we can make sure we're good. So if you have a day where you have like a couple hours or something to just,
I can probably spend a couple hours either tomorrow or Monday afternoon, evening. I think that might work. I'll work it out.
Test it out, set it up. I'll actually set up a Discord for this, and then do it that way. You can do some stuff. People fucking love Discord, so you get fans in there. They talk to you. You tell them, don't talk to me. How dare you speak to me? Things like that. So
I've got a couple of Discords already, and that's kind of my response every time I get a notification of somebody posts a new thing. It's like, how fucking dare you?
How fucking dare you, man? I got fucking talk. I manage like this giant fucking Discord jam community of like 1,000 some players for multi-gaming, and oh my fucking god, like it's cool, but like at the same time, like we've been doing it for like over a year now, and huge. We have people that donate and stuff, and we run a bunch of like dedicated machines in like NA and EU, and do a bunch of game servers and stuff. But fuck, man, gamers, man, it's a fun class of people.
Gamers rise up and demand the Howard
cut. Exactly. As always, you should write to your who put out that movie? Universal?
Probably Universal.
Write to Universal. Demand
even if it wasn't Universal, write to them anyway.
Write to anybody. Tell them to demand the Howard cut. In fact, do it. Like get on Fiverr, pay people to spam them with bots of like release the Howard cut to the point of where they're like, the fuck are these nerds talking about? What fucking Howard? Clearly, we made a movie of that. Stewart Sand's like, oh shit, my time has come. They're gonna reboot the movie. No, release the Howard cut. Don't harass Stewart Hound. Never. Send him nice messages like, hey, how's your career? Smiley face. But anyway, I mean, that's really all I have to plug here. Hopefully, we'll have something functional going for like our Wednesdays game nights. If you guys have any suggestions of what we should play, I think I'd like to keep it geared towards like horror or maybe comic book related. I don't really want to go fuck around with like the Batman games, but something that's off the offbeaten track.
Yeah.
Something
there's this dude Puppet Combo I've been meaning to try out the games for, who does these PlayStation 1 styled games based off of like slasher movies.
Oh yeah.
And then there's another guy, I can't remember who or maybe it's not a guy. It's a person who makes he made a like a 4-bit styled Junji Ito style RPG game called World of Horror that I thought looked really interesting. So maybe we could play these.
Yeah, maybe check it out. Play them and see what happens. I mean, it should go pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll just shoot me a message if you prefer tomorrow, if you prefer Monday. Tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm just updating my. As soon as we get off here, I'll update my the drivers on my computer. So I guess my my computer appears strong, good enough to be able to play things like Blair Witch. So, maybe we can do this.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Like Blair Witch would be fun because I mean, you can get the Game Pass for Windows too, and that has Blair Witch on it too. There's a couple ways to do it to stream on it. I'll figure out the app again, but like I said, it shouldn't be a big deal. Then we'll just set up streaming and we'll watch Greg play the Blair Witch while we get drunk on stream and give him bad advice. Watch him jump scare. Have like a little like in the background just of you just like fuck.
Yeah, that's a thing. In the there's a YouTube guy I like called Dr. Wolfield. I was like, I can watch like horror movies all day long, but like actual games give me a serious case of a frightens, and like that's the situation with me.
It's all like, I mean, I can watch horror movies all day long, but when you're like playing a first person, like, oof, you're just like fuck this. No, it'd be fun. We can I'm gonna see how many games I can find that can co-op, or we can find I know there's something out there. I wonder if there's. I vaguely remember there's something out there where you can essentially like kind of like pass the controller kind of thing. You can play like, I don't know. I'm gonna look around and see what I can find for that. It'd be kind of cool to, do some run throughs and see how it goes, or just I don't know. We'll figure it out. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
All right, and I think that brings this episode of Welcome to Frankenstein House to an end. I've been G.A. Alexander. This has been Bon Wood. Anything to say before we go?
This comic was good, even though we talked about it for maybe 2% of this podcast. The comic is really good. Fatale is great. I'm excited to get to the next volume. Hopefully we'll continue to go until volume 4. I'd like to see where 90s Seattle's like with them. I assume maybe a lot of heroin and I don't know. What's going on.
I think Brubaker might have actually been alive in Seattle at the time.
I'm hoping like Mark Lanigan makes an appearance somewhere in there. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to kind of see like their take on that. So other than that, I ain't got nothing else. So we'll see you guys probably Wednesday.
Yeah. All right. And once again, if nothing else, if you took nothing else away from this this comic book podcast, it is number 1, Fatale, really good. Number 2, release the Howard Cut.
Always release the Howard Cut. You have to demand it. Storm the gates. They won't expect it. Nobody will expect it. Nobody. Security guards are going to be clueless, dumb fucking founded if you tell them you're here. They're going to let you in. They don't know what the fuck you're doing. They don't know what the fuck
you're doing. Right to Jay Inslee, tell them to release the Howard Cut.
You have to. You slam your fist on the desk, demand the Howard Cut.
All right.
See ya.